Okay. Yeah, let's move ahead to our next item, and the next item is regarding the Board of Commissioner meeting September 7th, 2010. Have a motion and discussion there.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. I call the question in motion. Those in favor, let me know by saying aye or raise your right hand. Again, the motion is called. I have a vote, and the vote is 2 to 2. I see it do not pass, so
I did not hear Commissioner Sampson, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sampson, you have a nay?
My vote is no.
Thanks, sir. We have a vote of 2 and 2. Move to the next item is Twiggs County Water System. Commissioner Bryant, you have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a second?
Second.
I call the question in motion. Those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand or saying aye.
No.
Motion 2-2. Next item is Spring Valley Park. Do I have a motion and a discussion there?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. Call the question in motion. Those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand or saying no.
No.
Motion fails for lack of quorum. Next item is the Telephone Convenience Center. Commissioner Bryant, do you have a motion?
So moved, Mr.
Do you have a
Chairman.
second?
I'll second.
Those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. Those opposed?
I say aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Commissioner Bryant?
Mr. Chairman, let me say this here. I have the splash here, and I need to get some equipment for the park down there in Spring Valley. And it's on this here, it's on this splash here.
Commissioner Bryant, the motion is on the phone, sir, for convenience center.
I thought it was telephone. Oh, okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. The telephone, I discussed that, came in and discussed that. We have a contract with Verizon, and cell phone is more cheaper than a landline. And I want to make a motion that we provide our recycle center employees cell phones. This is what
Could I comment on that?
Yes, ma'am. Several witnesses.
I agree that they're cheaper, and I think that's a good idea, except that a cell phone doesn't work very well for my convenience center. On Ridge Road, there are just a lot of areas where they don't work, and sometimes you might have a signal and sometimes you wouldn't, but I don't think it would be dependable at my convenience
Yeah,
center.
we can provide a landline at your convenience center because it'll save the county some money by going with a cell phone on our contract.
I agree that they are less expensive, but
Let me, is there essential to have phone communications from those centers? Do y'all feel it's essential?
Yes, because we have to call in, like people coming there with different tags on their cars. And they said that they have this in Twiggs County. We already have a policy that our recycle center, when they come in with a different tag on their cars and not a Twiggs County tag, we have to call up into the tax assessor's office and verify that they do have proper and pay tax in Twiggs County, then they can dump.
Well, sir, let me recommend or give this consideration. We have tried to serve as much as we can in terms of expenditures.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I do believe we have several extra phones in some departments that we may be able to use. I think if we check with the road department, they've added extra phones, and maybe also the tax assessor's office. But I think we can find extra phones that we already have rather than having to go and contract out new phones. I'd rather check that out before I go into buying a new phone. And if we have to do it, we'll see what we need and see what the cost is. I think the next budget cycle might be the better time to deal with spending extra money.
Let me say this, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your input, sir.
Mr. Chairman, let me say this here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was a conflict up there in this F district. And so, about dumping trash by the tag. And so, I think that it is more appropriate while we talking about saving money. You ain't gonna save no money. I'm talking about, that's all we want to talk about, saving money when it comes to, what happens if something happened to one of those peoples down there? Somebody get to fighting those people down there. We got all kinds of people coming in the recycle center, and here you sitting up on there worrying about a nickel and a dime. How much you think that is going to be less and more? Have you looked into that, Mr. Sampson? Since you doing all that talking about saving money, you the main one holler about saving money all the time. Every time you look around your ditch, you want to spend, you spending money.
Got anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say. You can reply if you want to. You ain't got to reply.
I still say there are some extra phones in the county that we can use so that these situations can be kept.
If you use those extra phones, you still gonna pay Verizon. You got to have a hookup. They got to turn those phones on. You still gonna have to pay, unless you're gonna take phone from other employees. Is that what you saying? You're gonna take phone from other office and give them to that?
There are extra phones that are out there that we can use.
Who got extra phone?
Let me, at this point, say that there may be, Commissioner Sampson, I'm not, but I think we ought to look and see if there are extra phones. I think the two issues here. One, of course, first of all, is the board sees the need for the phones to be at the collection centers. Secondly, the availability of options of what phones can be used, whether we have excess phones or whatever. Sheriff, you have something?
Yes, sir. I don't have any extra landline phones, but I do have some cell phones that we've taken out of service. And I realize, you'd have to pay to turn them on, and to help you, I'll give you those phones.
Okay, so thank you.
How many do you have, Chad?
7.
That would be
Right
a source of phone right there. So
And let me say this, I'm willing to try a cell phone for my convenience center first. I'm just saying that my experience on Ridge Road is that there are a lot of dead areas, but we'll try, and then if it doesn't work, we'll just have to do a landline.
Ms. Steps, I do believe that if we were to go with Verizon, it would work, but if not, I agree a landline.
I have Verizon myself personally, and there are still some areas on Ridge Road it doesn't work.
But for the recycle center, I think it'll work fine.
okay, let's. What I hear is and chair's open for a motion that we proceed with finding usable phones currently in our inventory or listings to equip a cell phone for the collection centers. I have a motion to proceed in that way. And of course, it would be Verizon is the server, I think, for all the county phones, I know.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's made. Do I have a second in that regard?
I'll second.
Yeah, motion is second. And certainly in terms of usage, if it is not usable at the center on the Ridge Drive, we can go back and go with the landline to give you service that way up there.
We'll try first and see.
Okay, good. Any other comment regarding the phone for the convenience center? Call the question and motion. Those in favor, let me know. Raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye. Okay,
good. Next item would be your audit deficiencies reported by Mr. Bob Bennett. They have a motion and discussion here.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
They have a second.
I'll second.
Do not vote for it as well, then the motion dies for lack of a quorum.
It's not a lack of a quorum, it's a lack of a majority.
Lack of a majority? Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that correction. With that, we have went through our business portion this morning.
Mr. Chairman, let me add to the agenda, please, conversation.
Commissioner Sampson, Commissioner Bryant, what was the
Conversation pertaining to the agenda.
can you be more specific? Just
Yes, I can be more specific, Mr. Chairman. The agenda that we have here, conversation is about item 4, 5, and 6 on the agenda for conversation, and number 8.
without particular, the issue we covered the agenda and the motion of the board's been, as you have heard, and the vote has been as you heard. I see no relevance of putting back in terms of the items that you have mentioned there into conversations.
Well, I put it for conversation because I want to talk about it. It's not for a vote. I want to talk about it. Other commissioner put conversation on the agenda, and we approved it. Ain't nothing been discussed on the agenda, what I put on the agenda. And so what I'm saying is I'm not asking for a vote. I'm just asking for a conversation added to the agenda on these items.
Commissioner Bryant, I see no relevance of it moving in that direction, and
Well, give me a vote on it then, Mr. Chairman. If you don't see no relevance in moving in that direction.
I'll accept your motion. Do I have a second to that motion
make that
for
motion.
adding the item to the agenda?
No, not adding the item to the agenda, conversation.
Let me understand, he's just wanting to explain to us what he had these items on there for.
That's conversation about these items. That's what it was about.
I'll second.
The item is, motion is made to add these items for conversation back to the agenda. Motion is seconded. Call the question, the motion. Those in favor, let me know, raise your right hand or saying aye. Those opposed, I oppose, and I see nothing be gained out of it. It's issues to be discussed.
Let me say this here. Mr. Governor, you put these same items back on the agenda for the next meeting. I'm gonna continue to put these same items back on the agenda. I'd like to have these same items put back on the agenda for the next meeting.
Certainly, God.
Could we just go down to item 6, Spring Valley Park? I wish you would make that motion. It sounded like, to me, he was just wanting to ask about some equipment for that, and that's a valid request.
Mr. Epps, I would endeavor to do that, but the board has taken a position and voted on it, and I see that at this point in time, as chair, I want to move beyond. If there is particular issues with the park, Mr. Bryant, would you discuss them with Ms. Neal, and we will we'll talk on them and work the issue. I'm establishing and maintaining quorum the quorum of the board, and the board's position was the item is not to be brought to the board this time.
Well, see, the thing about it, Mr. Chairman, since we're in discussion, I got the resolution here. And so I got the resolution for the splash about recreation.
Commissioner, we're not in discussion, sir. I'm just clarifying you the position of where we are in terms of our business session. At this point in time, we have concluded the business and we have moved beyond the scope of our agenda. And so at this time, I'm asking for a motion of adjournment.
I'll make that one.
I have a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.